Today I'm going to go over a basic overview of how to use Google Sheets. So let's start by signing in to your Google account and enter your SuffieldStudent.org account. Here we're going to want to go ahead and get started with our app launcher and go to Google Drive. I like to go to Google Drive so I can organize my documents in folders. Today I'm going to be doing a quick little math example, so I'm going to create a new folder for maybe my math class. Maybe I'll put this is math period 3 as an example. In my math period 3 folder, I'm going to click the plus sign in new and open up a new Google Sheet. So when you open up your Google Sheets, the first thing you want to do, like with any other Google app, is to give it a name and give a title to your document. So this is going to be fraction unit grades. So maybe, for example, I am using this as my grade book. So the first thing I want to do, like I said, is give it a name. Then you can star it if you want to favorite it to find it later in your favorites or starred folder. And you can also move it by clicking on the folder icon. Here you'll see this is the basic overview of all the tools and different functions you have in Google Sheets. It's very similar to Excel, so if you're familiar with Excel, this will be a very easy transition. I'm just going to point out some of the most common features that are and the easiest features to use. So up here you'll see that you can comment just like you can in any other Google app. You can insert and leave comments if you're collaborating or on this document, or if you're just leaving a note for yourself. You can transform your data into a chart, create a filter and filter out your data and organize it by any way you choose. And then this is obviously the most common probably function used is inserting those Excel functions and formulas. So I'm going to show you an example I have set up here for my example sheet. I'm going to pretend that I have some students here numbered 1 to 10, and these are their fraction test scores. So I'm going to show you how you can, once you have their scores entered, you can kind of manipulate their data any way that you need to. So this is where I'm going to put their average. So let's say I want to find out what my class's average was for this test. You're going to hit the equal sign and start typing the formula you want, which is average. What's nice about this tool is that you can use your mouse to scroll over the options they give you for averages, and they will give you a description of what each function does. So I want a basic average, so I'm going to click average, and that's going to tell you right here step by step exactly how to use this formula. So I'm going to select the cells that I would like it to calculate. So I'm going to select all of my students here. So it's B2 to B11, that's where my data is in those cells, and then you hit enter, and there's your average. So here I can see that my student's average for this test was an 83. So that's a basic kind of tool that most teachers might be using. Another interesting function of Google Sheets is the add-ons tool, very similar to Google Docs and the other Google apps. Here you can filter by education, and you can see what kind of add-ons are available for education purposes. One that's pretty popular is Flubberoo, which helps with grading, and another one is Flippity, where you can turn in your data if you have any Excel information and turn them into flashcards and other study tools. So that's another interesting feature. Another useful tool to manipulate your data is to turn into a chart. So you could start by selecting the data that you want to insert into the chart, and then click on either this little chart icon right here, or you can go to Insert Chart. Then from here, you'll see that you have a lot of options to customize your chart with, redoing the labels and the colors and different types of charts. So here you can go through and really decide exactly what you need. On the chart itself, you have a few options here. If you click on these 3 vertical buttons, they'll always give you more options. So that's just in general what you can do. I'm going to move this out of the way. Another thing that might be probably the most useful part of Sheets is how it's connected to forms. So here you'll see that you can create a form, and the vice versa. All of your information from forms you can get into your Sheets as well. So that's one thing that is really great and easy to use. And as a quick reminder, in order to grab that data from your form, you can go back to your form, under Students' Responses. You can click on the green sheet icon, and that will actually create a spreadsheet with all of the data that you have. Here I have no data, but for example, if you were to collect responses from a quiz, you'd be able to transfer all of that into Google Sheets. And lastly, when you're ready to share out, I mean, this might not be an example of something that you might share, but in general, if you're working on something that you want to share with a colleague or with students, you can click on the share button. Here you have a shareable link. If you choose to copy and paste this link, you can click copy link. And then decide what kind of access you want to give people with that link. Either here, remember we have our can view, can comment, can edit. This, remember, is our least restrictive. This gives the person the ability to edit and really change that document. Again, if you click more, here you'll have your other options of how you can share it with people who are not in Suffield. Again, I would not recommend that if you have any sort of student information in the sheet. If you're emailing this directly to people, you can enter their email addresses right here, and then again, decide on what type of access you want to give them. As always, hit the advanced button, and here you'll be able to prevent the people you share it with from changing access and sharing it with other people, and you'll prevent maybe students to download and print and copy this sheet. So decide on your changes, and then you can share it out with people. That's a basic overview of how you use Google Sheets.